What am I going to do with these giant pieces of wood? Hey everybody, thanks for checking out the channel today. My name is Matt, this is Firewood in the Field. Thanks for stopping by. Today's video, I've got a new item that I want to show on the channel. So just I'll put a disclaimer out there right off the get-go. I was given this by Garvee to make a video. I did not buy this product, but I'm going to give you an honest opinion as best I can. We're going to show it in use. Maybe this video could be helpful for someone else like me that does firewood and doesn't have a grapple on a hydraulically driven grapple on the front of their tractor or some other piece of equipment. So what I've got today is the 28-inch timber claw from Garvee. I'm going to unbox it. I'm going to show it in use. Here we go. All right. Timber claw, 28-inch. Well, you know what? The sun just had to come out. I had cloud cover for this video until just a moment ago. But I'm going to do a quick unboxing. I'll show you this. And I have a discount code to provide in addition to this review. So my discount code to any viewers, if you want 10% off this item, or I think just about any item from Garvee's website, it's FIR10. FIR10. I'll put it on the screen somewhere here. I'll put a link to it in the channel description, and I'll try to publish a linked comment. So Timber Claw 28-inch. All right, let's go ahead and get this opened up. I'm going to sharpen my knife. All right, I'm going to bring you in a little closer if I can. All right, pretty well packaged. I guess if you wanted, there is an extended service plan available. I don't know that I would take them up on this item. Garvee skidding tongs, as they call them. Here we go. All right, well, that is pretty well packaged. Okay, at Garvee's website, they say this thing weighs 33 pounds. It also mentions that it has a 3,000-pound lifting capacity, and that it, I'm not sure if it's the opening dimension is 32 inches or 28 inches, but we're about to find out. All right. And we got a zip tie here. Let's see if my dull little pocket knife can cut the zip tie. Yep, there we go. There it is. All right, let's see what we got as far as dimensions go. All right, so from the inside point to right here is, oh, slipped off. I got a little over 30 and 1/4 inches. I don't know what that is in centimeters, but for those of us using inches, the opening is almost 30 and a half. We got the little shackle right here that you can take on and off nice and easy. And for those of you who aren't familiar with this kind of item, the way this works, and for any of you who maybe aren't familiar with this kind of item and how it works, it's you put this on the log, and then when you lift this, just the force of gravity causes it to close, and that will pinch the log, and then you can lift it and go. So, feels good and heavy, feels good and sturdy, nothing's loose, no scratches. These bolts are kind of long, but I'd rather have more thread protrusion than not enough. These appear to be locking nuts, the nylock nuts, if you call them. So you see all these here are just the right fastener length. This one, these down here, that sticks out a good inch. But you definitely have plenty of thread protrusion. Let me bring the camera down and get a little closer look. All right, there it is, standing on its own. The heavy gauge fasteners. The bolts have a spacer here. This metal, 5/16 maybe. Yeah, it's assembled and ready to go. This nice swivel at the tops like that. Now this doesn't swivel this way. It just swivels like this. You can see this swivels in this dimension. It doesn't spin around. So we'll see how that fares in the Woodyard. But allows you to grab it from any position along that axis. All right, let's set it up on a couple of these big chunks. See if it'll span it. All right, I apologize for the sun glare, or at least the shadows. Only got a limited amount of time to film this today. Got a busy, active family life and work life, which is not a complaint, just how things are. In fact, some of you may have noticed a little less content out of the channel the last month. I just had a lot of life stuff going on, good stuff, but just been unable to get to YouTube as much. So I appreciate those of you who've been hanging around. This is an example of how you might use the log grapple. Now, this is an extreme example, and I don't know if it would pick this up. This will be one of the tests I do in a minute. I'll bring the tractor out. But this round, this is the butt end of the log. Like back here is the root ball starting to flare out. But this thing, in the dimension that the grapple is trying to grab it, that's 42, 40, almost 43 inches with the bark across. And again, this opening is only opening to 30. So this is probably asking a little too much for this machine, but hey, we're going to use it. Let's just see what it'll do. Let me go get the tractor and set it up, see if it can move this.
Okay, this is proof of concept. Maybe not the ideal way to pick this up. If I really had to move this a long way, I think I would just stick the forks underneath this giant chunk of wood. But let's just see if these tongs will do it. Now, I don't have enough ballast in the back of this tractor to really lift this thing up. I'm going to count it as a win if it'll just pick it up at all and let me drag it. And then, don't laugh at me, I got the wrong chains on there. With this little forklift attachment that I have on here to be able to connect to the grapple will slide off the forks if I don't have some kind of chain running to it to hold it in place. I just when I happen to have that little chain on the tractor, it's enough for right now. So, we'll see if it'll lift it, we'll see if it'll drag it. Grapple seemed to have no trouble with being fully spanned. Now my tractor doesn't have enough ballast. The back end started to come up right away. As soon as I tried to drag it backward, back the tractor just came in the air. But the grapple did its job.
So what I want to show here, might be a better example, a better use case of how a log grapple on the front of your tractor of this style might work for you. But what I'm going to try to do, I'm going to angle the camera down a little bit here. That one right there, and I think that one right there, I'm just going to pluck those out where they sit, just as a test to see, will this grapple do it? Now, you might say, well, Matt, that's silly. Just get in here with your bucket, push this pile around, get your forks on the tractor, lift this log out of here, do what you got to do. But I want to have a use case to show you, if you have a need to be selective and just pick up a piece of wood, that's something that this tool can be useful for. And yeah, don't you love the way tree services cut logs up? All right, let me go get the tractor and we'll try plucking a couple of these out of the pile. All right, everybody. Well, I hope this was a helpful test. And if anyone's looking for a log grapple, I recommend this item. It seems to do everything they said it would do. It's 33 pounds to lift and carry, so if you're in the Woodyard, it's not too heavy for you to carry. They do offer a bigger model than this. Go to Garvee's website. They've got a 36-inch model. But this 28-inch model, as you saw, it was able to reach around and grab this 40-inch plus chunk of wood. And my tractor didn't have enough ballast weight to actually pick this up. But if I had more ballast or if I had a bigger machine, these tongs would have picked up this giant piece of wood. As mentioned before, I've got a discount code for my viewers. If you want to shop at Garvee.com, I'll put a link to this product, and I'll also put a link just to Garvee overall in the video description. I'll put my discount code on the screen here, and it'll also be in the video description itself. So my subscribers, my watchers, my viewers, it's a 10% off code at Garvee.com. So go check them out. And if you've checked out this video, I thank you. Appreciate you being here. From Matt at Firewood in the Field. See you next time. Woodyard dog's coming for a visit. Don't get underneath that thing now, Cherry. No, we're not going to get under there. That's a good doggy. All right, Woodyard dog come to visit. Get out from underneath there.